cabbages! Welcome to PAX Unplugged. But we've got some lovely cabbages here, and I'm so excited to share all the games we're showing at PAX Unplugged here this year.
Hey there, my name is Fabio. I'm the head of games here at Loot Studios. So I'm in charge of all the game design team and all the community management.
Tell me about Malediction.
I'll even take a step back if that's okay for you.
Yeah.
And tell you about Loot Studios.
Right,
so
sorry.
Loot Studios is originally an STL subscription company where people pay a monthly fee and they get in their email loads and loads of miniatures every month.
Okay.
So they can use that to play whatever game they want. Most people play a lot of RPGs using our miniatures.
Right.
They're all really crispy, really high quality pre-supported STL files. Loot Studios decided to make their first game, and start branching into their own IP. And that's how Malediction came to be. A miniatures card game. To play, you're always going to choose a Seeker, which is the leader of your warband.
Okay.
And then you're going to build a deck of 30 cards that are of the same faction as your Seeker. Currently we have 4 factions and many options for Seekers and units and spells. And what makes it cool and different than other miniature games is that since you have a deck, the miniatures will appear on the battlefield as you play the unit cards.
Okay.
And that makes for a really, really fast-paced game.
Yeah. Is it kind of like a mix of like Yu-Gi-Oh and Warhammer a little bit?
Yeah, you could say that for sure. You said that though, not me.
Yeah. Exactly. So tell me about like the process of like how this came about. So you moved from subscription service miniatures to the game. Like how did that transition happen?
So we still have our subscription service, right? But we decided to branch out into gaming as well. We had a feeling that, well, most people already play games using our miniatures, right? Our miniatures are already meant for gaming. So branch out. Right, and let's try to make a game that we were happy with ourselves, right? Me, Fabio, personally, I've only been in Loot Studios for the last year, but I know that Malediction was in the making for 4 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So they really value quality, so they spent a lot of time trying to flesh out the core gameplay and the core rule system and create this really, really good initial party for our Game Found campaign. We've already delivered for everyone. Our Game Found campaign was in February, and we've already delivered to all our backers.
Oh, good.
So that's impressive in itself. And like I said, we value quality and really a lot of customer feedback. So this year we've been doing all the trade shows and getting a lot of feedback from all our players and adjusting everything for 2026. Where we're going to go full throttle and we're going to be everywhere. And
expansion packs and everything.
Exactly.
Like walk me through the design process of like how the miniatures and like maybe some of the art as well as design.
I can tell you about how that works currently and how we're doing it for all future expansions. I wouldn't be able to tell you how that was 4 years ago. Currently, we go a lot by committee where we have our lead graphic designer who's in charge of all the artwork and all the 3D sculpting, and he sits down with the game design team and the lore team, and then we try to figure out what's cool.
Right.
So they come with a bunch of drafts. The game design team comes with a bunch of cool mechanics that we want to see implemented. The lore team comes with a bunch of draft short stories, and then we try to see what mixes and matches. And sometimes the art team has such an amazing art that the game design team never thought about, and then that inspires you to do something in regards to that and to be better. That I like a lot because I've worked for over 10 years in the gaming industry, and I've never seen something as horizontal and as committee oriented as Loot Studios.
And so like a lot of the design is sort of like a work of love is what I would say.
Yes,
like,
for sure.
There's a lot of dedication and passion, and sometimes somebody brings something really cool and then they get kind of turned down because it's not part of the whatever, and it's like, can we just put it in because it's cool? Like, how are we going to fit that in?
Exactly. It's very love driven, and I think you can clearly see that, especially in the aesthetics, but if you do play the game, you'll also see that the aesthetics and the gameplay match.
Right.
And that's hard.
Yeah. Do the minis come pre-painted or is there an option, I guess?
Oh, okay, good question. So since we are originally an STL subscription company, what we did here is, this is a faction deck.
Yeah.
Basically, like I said, to play you need 30 cards. Here you get 84 cards and
wow.
2 Seekers, which are our leaders.
So you get like options.
And so it's all the options currently for that faction. and we try to like overkill you with gameplay.
Right.
But when you buy this, you ask me, where are the minis? Well, it comes with a code that gives you ownership of all the STL files.
Right.
Meaning you can 3D print as many of
on
these
your own.
models as you want, including the terrain pieces.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And then you might tell me, but I want to play tonight.
Right.
We got the
You might
faction
wanna-
box. And it's exactly the same product. The only difference is that, as well as the cards and the STL files, you get cardboard punch outs, so you can play straight out of the box with standees.
Okay.
So these two are the same character.
Right.
You'll see that this one's more impressive, but their footprint is the same.
Right.
Meaning that to play, you can just, once again, play out of the box, but you would still always have to 3D print.
Right.
Currently, at conventions, we do sell the pre-printed miniatures, but they're not painted.
Yeah. So there's still like an element of like customization if somebody wanted to. If they want this character, but with rainbow horns, for example, they could paint it themselves. It's just the same.
Yes, exactly. We also incentivize, you see a lot of people doing conversions, which is like you finish printing, break them, and re-glue them into different positions.
Chimera. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we see that a lot. Like, for example, these totems are already kind of like chimeral creatures in a sense. So we've seen people fiddle around with them as well. It's really interesting. You talked about like rainbow horns. I've seen a guy get the Legion of the Fallen, which is our faction of like the undeads and the skeletons, and he painted them like pool party.
Yeah.
So
As you should.
As you should,
If
exactly.
you want to, yeah.
So it's all like really colorful, you know, and he did it in a way where the armor actually looks like swimsuits.
That's
So
cute.
I thought that was really creative.
Yeah, I like that. 'Cause I think part of the whole essence of minis is the fun part, the creation. Even if they paint it the exact same, sometimes I think it's the essence that they put into it that they love the most.
Exactly. I have a friend who only tries to copy the box art always. Even though he does, they're always unique to him.
Right.
Because you know which brush stroke you missed,
Yeah.
you know, and you can always tell, like, I painted this,
Yeah.
right? And
A little
what
bit
I
of
love.
extra blood or whatever. How exactly does the game sort of function?
Right after you decide what your deck is and the minis are deployed as you play. The other cool aspects are basically you're battling in the mists of Malediction to try to acquire relics that are found inside of husks, that you manifest them through husks and to bring back to your home faction. What does that mean gameplay wise? You're trying to score 40 mastery points.
Okay.
How do you score mastery points? Either by claiming relics, which give you 10 each, or by defeating enemy units. And the stronger the enemy unit, the more mastery they'll give you.
Okay.
So there's this like push and pull between capture the flag in a sense and just killing your opponent.
Right.
And it's really near impossible winning just one way or the other. You're gonna have to mix the two together. So there's a lot of strategic depth when building your deck, and then there's a lot of tactical depth when moving units around and declaring how you're gonna attack. Obviously, there's dice roll involved. Whenever you're gonna hit, for example, you roll a d20 and you add your accuracy, and you need to beat the person's defense. Simple as that, right? That's
Yeah,
so
D&D
plain.
rules.
Exactly. You said that,
Yeah.
not me.
Yeah.
And basically, if I meet or beat your defense, I score a hit. But if I don't miss, I actually score a graze. So I'm still dealing damage, just less.
Yeah.
And that's really neat in my mind because it's always pushing the game forward. So
Yeah.
there are no pillow fights.
Yeah. So it's not like Magic where you're sort of like hitting things and then they just recover at the end.
Yeah,
Which
nothing
is
like that.
Irritating. So you have the starter kit, and then there's the two factions. Can you tell me what the two factions are, in case people want to pick a side for now?
Right now we have 4 factions.
Oh, we have 4.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's even better, right?
Yeah.
Double trouble. Here, the 2 factions that you see on this table here right now are the Order of the Shattered Throne. What they believe is that the world has become too chaotic and they're trying to bring order back into the world. Does that mean they're the good guys? Well, they'll tell you they are.
Yeah.
But they're all about like sticking together. They have a lot of healing and stuff. But at the same time, they have like griffin riders. But they believe griffins are these wild, chaotic creatures. So they shouldn't be, right? They're like abhorrent. So they clip the wings off the griffins
Yeah.
and use them as like fancy cavalry.
So we hate them. A little bit.
And then here on the other side of this table, we've got the primal blood, which are tribes that believe that they should always follow the strongest. So our poster boy here for them is Thundersteps, which is just this massive, huge creature that came from possibly another dimension. who doesn't speak anyone's language,
Yeah.
but everyone from all the tribes from the Primal Blood looked at him and said, okay, we're going to follow this guy. He knows what he's doing. He can smash, right? They're all about following the strong, dealing with things directly. They have a beef with each other, they're going to solve it. You know,
Right.
they're not going to cry to their mom. And then the other two factions we have are the Legion of the Fallen. They believe that death is a curse that should be undone. They're all about avoiding death, or even better, if you do die, bringing you back to life.
Right.
We also have the Conclave of the Spheres, which are the schools of magicians. So
Okay.
each sphere is a different school. So like the Ambliss sphere is all about teleportation. A lot of merchants,
Yeah.
right? Because that's the best way you can ship product
Right.
is if you could teleport, right? And they have their own secrets, and they make their own chimeral creatures, which are called the Spellbounds. A fun fact is all the Spellbounds have a mask, and there's some sort of mystery behind that.
But so there is kind of like a story that we can follow as we play.
Yeah.
Because I can kind of see that like theming going on here, like especially with the statue. I don't know if that was intentional. I imagine it's intentional because we just talked about it. And is there like a way that people who play the game can like follow along in like a story?
There is no story mode, right? We have basically a backdrop story, right, that permeates everything. I'm not even allowed to say this, but right now we're
focused
still
on this.
focused on this, and our lore primer, which is like a hefty, many pages book, is going to be ready in the first quarter of next year.
Okay.
You can expect that.
Yeah.
And then people will have a lot more in-depth story of what these characters are. But our idea is that no two matches are ever alike, so
No, yeah.
whenever you're going to play, you're kind of creating your own narrative at that moment.
I just find it interesting that like I don't know, like if two of these characters got beef, that like maybe you intentionally put them on a team. It kind of like gives you a little more depth. If you're playing with a friend and you both know the lore, like oh these two people are rivals or they hate each other or whatever, it kind of gives you like a little bit more fun to the game or something like that. Right now, these are the two available options: the starter and the bigger box.
Yes.
And then this like double box, I guess.
So this double box is just, we sleeve them together
Yeah.
as a way to recommend to people any two random faction
Right.
boxes, and you'll get the same amount of discounts and everything. But any two that you get
Yeah.
will be a great first experience.
Yeah, and I mean it's good to get like two because then you can play with a friend automatically. Or can the same faction like fight against itself? I assume yes. But
Yes, of
Yeah.
course. So each box we'd like to say is everything one person needs to play. So if I like playing Order of the Shattered Throne, and so do you, once we're in the midst of Malediction, even according to like the lore, because it's a magical place, anything can happen.
Yeah.
So you can end up fighting yourself, right? That's totally normal, and we encourage that. If you said I could add something,
Yeah, go
we
ahead.
have it's a 2 to 4 player game, and because we have a 1v1 mode, then we have a teams mode, which is 2v2, but we also have a nemesis mode, which is 2v1.
Right.
So it's a team fighting another player by himself, where that player will have like extra resources and extra activations.
Yeah.
We made it in a way where it's supposed to feel an uphill battle for both sides. So if you're playing by yourself, you're like, damn, I wish, can I swear? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Darn, I wish I had an ally. But the allies are like, oh gosh, we should have
Done
all
something
the
else,
extra
yeah.
benefits that our opponent has.
Yeah. That's cool because like a lot for me and my partner, like we invite someone over and it's 3-player and it's like what do we do? Like most games like don't work very well with 3 people. So I think that's a really fun dynamic, and I like to be the villain, so I think that works for me. So if that works for you, at home. Thank you so much for meeting with me, and I'm excited to look into it and how it progresses.
Great, thank you
Yeah,
so much for
thank
your
you.
time.